Facebook is getting sued. And in fact, is getting sued 2 times right now. One by the Federal Trade Commission. We're going to talk about what that is, as well as 48 attorney generals for the United States are bringing a second lawsuit. Now, this kind of touched home for me because I just recently had one of my music marketing clients contact my office who will do something like billions of views, sometimes every month on Facebook. And so these are massive marketing companies that are being affected by what Facebook is doing. And because this really impacts every single person who tries marketing their music business on Facebook, well, you need to know what's going on and really what could end up happening with this lawsuit. So in today's video, I'm going to give a lawyer's reaction to the lawsuits that were just filed against Facebook. Hi guys, I'm Miss Crystal. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and author of How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent musician. Be sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to get our weekly videos helping you with your music career, your music business, and giving you updates on what's happening in the music industry. Now, if you've ever actively tried to market yourself on Facebook, then you know a couple of things. One of which is that if you ever post, let's say, a picture or a video and you put a link in your description, you better believe that Facebook is going to crush your organic reach, because Facebook doesn't want you pushing to any other platform than Facebook. And so if you add a link into your description, right, it's going to say, hey, go to YouTube or go to this website, look at this article. You're going to get punished for actually putting that link. And so what a lot of advertisers and marketers do is that they'll maybe say, you know, hey, I have a new video on YouTube, link down in the comments below. And so they don't actually put it in the description knowing that. So this is just one kind of small indicator of what it is that Facebook does to essentially keep itself as a superior platform and to keep traffic on its own platform. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, one of the lawsuits being filed is by the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC. Now, the Federal Trade Commission essentially exists to prevent antitrust or anti-competition and essentially a monopoly on the market. And when we say monopoly, we're talking about these corporations that will become so huge that essentially any smaller businesses just have no ability to compete. Now, where this kind of was, inspiring for me to even want to share it with you guys is that as I was talking about it with a few different people, it sparked a lot of conversation and argument to kind of, see this on both sides. Because as a general kind of principle, we talk about the ability to compete as a business, and we have the right to compete and to succeed and to crush, competitors because we're so good at what we do, because we innovate and we just, essentially we win on the merits. But what's essentially being alleged is that that's not what Facebook is doing. It's not innovating. It is not winning on the merits. It's simply crushing the competition. Now, as I already said, Facebook is essentially a glorified advertisement platform, right? So that's essentially how Facebook makes its money. That's how it does these, collaborative deals, right? Or these partnerships, because they get ad revenue and then they have the traffic. Everyone is on Facebook, or at least, that was the case until we started to see traffic migrating to Instagram, right? Because now you have a picture imagery focused platform that was significantly more attractive to a younger demographic. And so what did Facebook do? In 2012, for $1 billion, Facebook purchased Instagram. And it's been alleged that, at that time, Instagram was making little to no revenue, right? So in this instance, you have a giant come along and say, I'm gonna buy you out for $1 billion. You better believe they got that acquisition. Now, as part of the Federal Trade Commission's complaint, they have cited to a number of emails that founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, has drafted, right? Internal emails to team, that kind of thing. And he would say to the effect, it's better to buy than compete. These kinds of statements are very damaging for Facebook, because obviously there are organizations like the Federal Trade Commission that exist to make sure that at some point these giants who are, throwing around billions of dollars like it's nothing, essentially aren't going to prevent any other competitor in that space from ever rising up. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of a public policy consideration, right? We want to encourage innovation. We want to have people, making better platforms, better technology, and helping to essentially innovate. So that's why these organizations like Federal Trade Commission exist. It's to make sure that from a public policy standpoint, we are always moving forward and we don't kind of have like these gangster corporations that are going to essentially move the market however they see fit. Now, another issue cited by both complaints has to do with the acquisition of WhatsApp. Right? So most of us know it, and I think it's actually used outside of the United States, probably even more predominantly than it is in the United States, whereas Facebook is really, used quite a bit in, by United States users. But with WhatsApp, here we go again. There was enough competition that was gearing up, and I think that there was going to be a move by WhatsApp to become more like a social media platform because there's so much traffic on that platform. So what does Facebook do? Facebook goes and acquires WhatsApp for $19 billion. Billion with a B. And so essentially what these complaints are alleging is that Facebook is becoming this unchecked power that is going and acquiring any potential competitor that is starting to rise up in this relevant social media marketplace. And one example of kind of this anti-competitive behavior of Facebook that the Federal Trade Commission pointed to in its complaint was this open first, close later policy that Facebook apparently has. And so it will bring in, let's say, a new app. And so it says, hey, bring in all of the traffic, bring in all of your customers, but then later on, all of a sudden, terminate that app or terminate the ability for the app to be on the platform. And where this, also becomes relevant is you're talking about people who make a living, right? So again, as musicians, as music business owners, we are trying to promote ourselves on, Facebook and or Instagram. And, if we are being limited in how we can do that, or in that we, essentially can't drive traffic off of these platforms to our websites or to our YouTube channels, that's essentially in the long run hurting us. Now, the devil's advocate argument might be, well, it's a private company. They should be able to do whatever they want. If you don't like it, get off the platform. And I've heard this. And equally, it's not wrong, right? So, we want this industry to be so that there's constant competition, because usually that helps to drive down pricing and it helps to innovate and, the best rise to the top. But, again, when you have essentially someone or a corporation who is at the top, and is not allowing and is actively seeking out other businesses, other app owners, and other companies are starting to rise up, and at the closest hint of some kind of competitor, crushing that competitor. That's why antitrust laws exist, and that's why this has become a problem. And so what you're actually seeing now with the lawsuit that's being filed by the 48 attorney generals is that they're saying they actually want to try to unwind the Instagram and WhatsApp acquisitions. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that because, we're talking about all the way back to 2012. Has it been too long? Is it, too far away at this point to make happen? Is that even fair? And what would that look like? But that's something that we're going to see as part of these lawsuits. And as you guys know, there have been lawsuits against Facebook, right? This is the first time that Facebook has had to, withstand public scrutiny. But for me, this one's a little bit different because in a way, it really attacks the core of what Facebook is, what Facebook has done, and the entire kind of thought process all the way back to like 2008 with some of these emails that we're finding from the founder and kind of, this whole idea of it's better to buy than compete. And if you guys ever have a chance to actually read a complaint, you'll see at the end there's what's called a prayer for relief. Not that you're actually, praying, but you're praying to the court, I guess. So the prayer for relief from Federal Trade Commission is that they're asking for a preliminary injunction, which means they're asking that Facebook be stopped from doing this anti-competitive behavior anymore. Whereas I feel like the lawsuit by the Attorney Generals is a little more aggressive, and they're saying we actually want to unwind the deal, the purchase of the Instagram as well as WhatsApp. So guys, that's my quick take on it. Very interesting, especially because, I do work with, these advertising giants who, thrive and have a huge portion of what they do on these platforms because they have to, right? That's the other key component here. If you're saying, well, if you don't want to deal with it, get off the platform, but in order to compete, in order to actually, essentially survive in today's industry, you got to be on these platforms. So we'll kind of see what happens with this. I'll keep you guys posted, and more than anything, I want your thoughts on this. What side do you land on it, right? So is Facebook being unfair and do they need to be stopped, or are you more of the thinking that, you know what, everyone should be able to compete? Really, if someone is that good, maybe they shouldn't sell out when Facebook comes and offers $1 billion or $19 billion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're in the mood for some dark pop music, I just dropped my album, Dangerous Daughters, as well as my music video, Holy Water, which I'll be sure to link at the end of this video. Don't forget to come say hi on social media. I'm definitely the most active on Instagram, and it's always amazing to meet you guys. I'm gonna get out of here, but don't forget to subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any videos from your new favorite redhead. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Miss Crystal. Bye.